Hello, 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 and welcome to this live stream. I am talking today about going to Brazil. Now, when we talk about the diaspora, talk about connecting the diaspora to Africa, one of the places that we often don't talk about in the conversation is Brazil. And Brazil happens to be the country that had the largest number of people taken from the African continent to that country. And people talk more about the United States than they do about Brazil, but Brazil happens to be the country that has a lot of people who were taken there. I want to welcome you today to the live stream. We're going to be diving into the heart of Afro-Brazilian culture, uncovering the incredible opportunity waiting you in Bahia, Brazil. Beyond the Waves is a mission to connect the African diaspora to the heritage and untapped economic potential of this extraordinary country. And it is more than just a destination. It's a treasure trove of cultural richness, history, opportunity. And this evening, I wanted to bring these two women who are the co-founders of the Beyond the Waves movement to explore how the tourism, cultural exchange, potential investments, and in a Black-friendly environment with ventures that can help you create meaningful experiences and connections with a lasting impact. Now, whether you're looking to rediscover roots culturally, historically, or grow personally, or simply to seize opportunity for new financial business possibilities, this is an opportunity for you to be guided on a transformative journey to Brazil. So as I continue to help bridge the gap between the diaspora and the African continent, this is an opportunity to celebrate this culture, heritage, and unlock the opportunities of Brazil. So I want to thank everybody who has joined this live stream today. I am here with two amazing women who are the co-founders of this initiative. And if you are joining from anywhere in the world, please do let me know in the comments where you're joining from. I am live from Tema, Ghana, just outside Accra. It is after 7 p.m. here, local time. I want to know where you're joining from. Let us know who you are, why you're joining, what it is that you want to expect. If you have any questions, put them in the comments, and our guests today will be able to answer them for you. So I'm going to, without further ado, introduce the two women that we have who will be joining us today. I have Rashida Musa and I have Emma Oliveira, who are the co-founders of the Beyond the Waves movement, connecting the diaspora to Brazil. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. Obrigada. Obrigada tanto.
So we have Mazen Hassan from Lebanon. Thank you for joining today. We have Victoria Murray from Ohio. Thank you for joining the live stream today. We've got Real from Georgia. Thank you for joining. We've got New Leaf Lass from Dallas, Texas, here to learn more about this amazing opportunity. Thank you so much for joining. I know that we have a few more people on here. As you join, please do let us know where you're joining from. So I'm going to let our two women introduce themselves. So first, Emma, I would like you to introduce yourself, what you do, what your connection is to Brazil. And Rashida, you can also do the same. Introduce yourself, what you do, and what connects you to Brazil and Ghana.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for having us today. We are thrilled to be here today, okay? I'm Dr. Emma Oliveira. I wear many hats. I'm the co-founder of All Small Dental Clinics, which is a brand of clinics in Accra, Ghana. We have ultra-modern equipment and all that you could think of. I'm also the co-founder of Beyond the Waves. Beyond the Waves initiative, which is amazing. It's going to give you awesome opportunities to travel to Brazil to explore all the beautiful things that country has for you. I'm a visionary. I'm a humanitarian as well. I'm the founder of Global Hearts Foundation, which is a foundation that takes care of the less privileged in the society, particularly women, children, and autistic people as well. And very happy to be here tonight. Thanks for having us. Thank you.
Thank you. And my name is Rashida Musa, and I am the CEO of RAMA, which is Africa's leading AI integration firm. We help individuals strategically implement artificial intelligence into their workflows or into their operations. We lead a lot of training seminars, webinars, and in-person sessions to really get the African population ready for AI. I'm commonly and affectionately known as Hajia AI. So I'm very integrated into the African tech space. My reason for joining this incredible woman to start Beyond the Waves was I actually lived in Brazil for 3 years. I lived in the state of Bahia for 3 years. I was working out there. I went as a digital nomad during the pandemic, but then I met a real estate developer who had hired me to do some technology integration. And through that relationship, we ended up building Brazil's largest digital nomadic hub on islands on Brazil. So imagine you get to live on like paradise. White sand beaches, clear waters, kind of like the Caribbean, but you have all the amenities you need as a digital nomad to do work remotely. We set up internet and all that stuff, and it was quite affordable. Less than $500 a month, you could stay in a beautiful accommodation. So coming back to Ghana, I set up my firm here, and it's been a wonderful blessing to come back home. I am a Ghanaian, and I'm very happy to have come back home, but I know that my mission is greater. I can't just experience what I experienced in Brazil alone. I had to tell people because not many people know, which is actually really surprising that people like to think Sao Paulo, Rio de Janeiro, but Bahia, Salvador da Bahia is heaven on earth for you as a Black person.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you so much for the introductions. I want to just acknowledge a few more people who've joined the live stream. We have Honorine S. Greetings, Ivy, UK via Ghana. Thank you for joining the live stream. We've got Booker Evans, live from Hartford, Connecticut, USA. We have Honorine saying, I love the fact that you're connecting more with our South American brethren. This is great. I thought it was also important to bring these women here to have a discussion about what they're doing. Their Beyond the Waves movement. The two of them both have lived in Brazil, one of them for 3 years, another one lived there for 20 years, and have a really strong connection to Brazil, and want to acknowledge how important it is for us to know more about what's happening in Brazil and exactly what they're doing. Thank you, Clean Heart, for joining the live stream. I appreciate you. It's always wonderful to see what everybody's doing and how everybody's joining from different parts of the world. This is an opportunity to join a trip that they are planning that not only is a trip, but also an opportunity for you to learn about doing business there, possibly becoming a resident there, just to build a life there. So it's an opportunity for you to see and to learn what they are doing. So I'm just going to continue acknowledging people. Cheryl Johnson joined from New Jersey. We have ST7TV from Ghana, Ghanaian. Greetings from Sao Paulo. Oh, wonderful. You're in Sao Paulo. Thank you for joining. Clean Heart says, thank you for what you're doing. Thank you so much. So I'm just going to show on the screen. I want to share my screen. So those of you, you can see they have a brochure that officially was launching their project, which is called Beyond the Waves. And I'll share the screen with you here so you all can see Beyond the Waves is their initiative, a homecoming of heritage, opportunity, and prosperity. So I want to ask you ladies a question. Why do you want to do this now? I know you both have this, your heart of Brazil, but why now? Why did you launch this initiative now for people to get a chance to go to Brazil?
So part of the reason why we did this now is last year, January 2024, the government of Bahia actually signed an MOU with the government of Ghana, as they were very impressed with what we've done in Ghana with Beyond the Return, in terms of mobilizing the diasporan global Black community. I mean, for those of us, we know that has changed the landscape in Ghana by opening up its doors. And they wanted to do the same thing for Bahia, attract that same audience. So Reconnecting Salvador Roots was started, and Ghana was actually invited as the first country, especially the first African country, to be invited to Salvador's carnival and have their own float and participate officially. So through that, I was part of that initiative that was launched as one of the few Ghanaians that have spent a significant amount of time in Salvador. And it was wonderful. You know, we saw huge Ghanaian artists go to Brazil during Carnival. If anyone knows Republic in Ghana, in Osu, they also were part of that initiative and went down and brought that Ghanaian flair. And what is it, apeteshi? Apeteshi. So they brought apeteshi to the Brazilians, you know, and they loved it. I mean, you know, so through that initiative and seeing that, you know, what I was thinking, that Ghanaians need to go, Black people need to go to Bahia, and seeing that on a governmental level, that they were having the same initiative, I said, okay, you know what? Then we need to refine this and extend it beyond Carnival, because Carnival is wonderful. But Salvador is not just Carnival. And also when we think of traveling as Black people, you know, we're not extractors. We want to give back to the community. Look at what we do when we go to the UK, when we go to Canada, when we go to the Americas. See the impact that we put into these communities. And I said, you know what, we need to refine this in a way and also find a way to connect them safely. If you're from Ghana, you know that you need someone from Ghana to be able to do things effectively. And the same thing in Brazil. So we want to put you in the right hands of the right entities who can help you deliver your product, service, register your business, and beyond.
Yes, and just to add on, I mean, to explain where Bahia is situated, okay, so when it comes to Brazil, Brazil has a lot of states, okay, so Bahia is one of the states in Brazil.
Yes.
And Salvador is the capital of Bahia, which is the Afro. Afrocentric or Afro hub of Brazil.
Yes.
So people from Salvador, they identify themselves as AfroBrazilians. Mm-hmm. So it's an incredible place for people like us to be.
Yes.
So let's get some clarity. I know that's really exciting what you're doing and understanding, you know, Ghana. I showed on the screen a couple of minutes ago about Ghana being the first African country that was making history as the first African country to participate in the Salvador Carnival. And so with that being done last year, now with what the two of you are doing, what exactly is going to happen with what you're doing? Because I showed the brochure on the screen. I'll show it again. Let me present the screen again so that people who are joining, because sometimes people are joining the live stream a little bit late and they may have missed when I put it on the screen. The brochure showing what the two of you are doing: Beyond the Waves, a homecoming of heritage, opportunity, prosperity. And as I flip through the brochure, you see that, you know, explaining who you are and the fact that it's a movement inspired by Ghana's efforts to reconnect the diaspora, and the Salvador Bahia, the soul of Africa in Brazil. It's just so beautiful. And then this is just giving us a little bit of information historically so people understand that 85% identify as Afro-Brazilian. There's 3.9 million people. And then the GDP, that is also letting you know about the potential for business, 49 billion US GDP. The rise of real estate and the rental market. You also have the investing potential in the tourism sector. So all of these are detailed information that helps us understand what exactly it is that you're doing when it comes to, you know, learning a little bit about the journey. So if you could go into a little bit more detail of what people can expect with this trip, because the trip is the 24th of March to 31st of March. It's coming soon. It's not too far away, to Salvador. So if you can just get into a little bit of detail with what exactly it is that people can expect. But before you answer, I want to acknowledge some of the people who've joined the live stream. We have, what's it here? Oh, one more. Baby T says, hello, Afro-Brazilian here in the UK. Grandfather from Santos. Great to see you all. Thank you for joining. And then we have Nana Obin, just dropping by to say hello before work. Enjoy the sisterhood. Thank you so much, Nana Obin, for always joining and supporting. I appreciate you. You are a loyal follower. Thank you for joining the live stream. So ladies, if you can answer my question about what people can expect from March 24th to 31st of this year going to Salvador.
Absolutely. So what you can expect is a trip like no other. We want to give participants a very well-rounded experience about what is capable in Brazil. So what we've structured the tour as, you start in the morning with high-level seminars on varying topics. So day one, we have an introduction to Salvador Bahia, the history of Bahia, and that is going to be led by the city of Salvador. They're going to be sending a representative for us to really give you an in-depth analysis of what this city means to the global, to the Brazilian country. And then we will go off and do an activity. So that activity is a tour of UNESCO sites in Salvador, historical sites. Market Modelo is one of the oldest slave trading posts in all of Brazil. Is the first, actually. So you get to really see where slavery was started, and see the cultural historical eras as well, and explore that. And we have tours at the National Museum as well to understand that history. Then day two, we have a real estate masterclass, whereby we've partnered with one of the top real estate firms in Bahia, and they're going to come in and talk to us a little bit about what the real estate environment looks like, what it takes for you as a Ghanaian or an American or any type of foreigner to engage and into the market. And then we will get to tour 3 to 4 different properties, ranging from 50,000 USD to 1 million USD, because we know we're going to get some big ballers in this group. And part of that reason is why we're starting at 50,000 USD is because that is the minimum threshold that you need to get an investor visa in Brazil. So that's why we want to show you what you're capable of doing. And then those same properties you can put on Airbnb for about $1,000 to $3,000 a month, especially during the high season of Carnival, which attracts around 3 million people, Then we have import and export. Last year alone, Brazil imported around $156 million worth of shea butter from Ghana. And that shows that there's a huge potential. And that grew about 11% from the previous year. So we have partnered with the Export Authority right in Bahia. And they're going to come in and do a seminar with us detailing what it takes to import, export, what are some goods that are really moving between our two entities, things that are needed in the Brazilian ecosystem. Then we have an entrepreneurship one. Dr. Emma is an entrepreneur in the health sector. I'm an entrepreneur in the technology sector. So we're going to host seminars as well, and our counterparts in Brazil. So we have a tech startup that will come and talk to us about what the tech climate is. We have a medical professional too, who owns one of the largest medical training schools in all of Bahia, who will be coming to talk to us about what it takes to get into the medical view. And then as well, we have fashion. So our artists, our musicians, our fashion, you get an entrepreneur creative as well. Industry. Yes, exactly, to come and talk to you about that sector. And then we have a legal and immigration seminar as well. So we partnered with a wonderful, very Afro-focused legal law firm that's going to come in and talk to you about the legal framework of Brazil. We want participants to follow the rules and enter Brazil legally and do things correctly. We are entrepreneurs and we do everything by the book, and that's what we want to do. So that's why we want you to have the correct information legally, what it takes to set up your business entity, what it takes to get naturalization, to get your proper immigration. Then you as an individual get a 1-hour personal session with a lawyer privately. And that's where you can now do a legal clinic and ask them your own personal questions. And aside from all these seminars, we have some amazing activities. So these are the morning seminars. Then each day there's an incredible fun touristy activity that you get to do. So we get a private session with Banda Gida, which is one of the largest female-only drumming bands in all of Brazil. They are incredible. So we'll get to learn how to drum from them. We have Bahia by Night, which is a dance show and dinner right in the central square. We're going to take a private yacht that has a barbecue. The yacht has a barbecue, people, okay? Because Brazilians, they don't mess with their barbecue. And you get to go I guess, island hopping on a
Yes.
yacht, okay, and visit all the islands and just so much more in the city. We have several dinners hosted with affluent Brazilians to increase networking opportunities. So you're going to get business and pleasure and everything in
And
between.
excitement.
Oh, absolutely.
And opportunities, right?
Absolutely, yes. And we've allowed a little bit of room as well for you to explore on your own free time and, you know, make your own connections as well.
Sounds really, really good. It's like an amazing opportunity. Let's see what people are saying in the comments. Johnson A. Blaze says, I can't join the trip this year, but I'll be interested in subsequent ones. Thank you for saying that. Yao Wiafe says, hello. Thank you for joining, Yao. I appreciate you. William Otto says, LOL. I'm not sure. He might be laughing at something that was said earlier. We have New Leaf Laz says, since Portuguese is the official language of Brazil, how will you navigate seminars, tours, etc.? Your itinerary sounds amazing. So could you answer that question?
Yes. So the seminars will be held in English. It's going to be held
so
in
the seminars
English.
will be held in English. Is that common for things to be done in English, even though Portuguese is the official language there?
So the seminars will be held in English that's the clientele, but doing business in Brazil, yes, absolutely, you will have to learn Portuguese. However, one of our partners is a high-level translation service that can come to you with during business meetings as well, if necessary, to translate for you. And nós falamos português.
Yeah, I mean, the best way to learn language is to be in a country where it's spoken.
Exactly.
You pick it up very easily.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. You will pick up Portuguese.
You pick up Portuguese. It's not that difficult.
I'm an AI queen, so I have an arsenal of tools for all of our participants to be able to translate effectively with anyone in the country.
Okay, sounds good. Let's go back to the comments. Nana Open says, that's amazing, ladies. Thank you. Tour and Relocation says, this is so wonderful. Thank you so much for your input. Mazin Hassan says, what unique cultural or tourism-driven opportunities exist in Salvador that could provide a competitive edge for business or real estate investments in the coming years?
Sure. So, you know, something about this is Bahia is very special in the landscape of Brazil. I mean, if you were to think of Brazil, I mean, Ivy, let me ask you this. I want you to name a city in Brazil, the first one that comes to your mind. What are you going to say?
Rio de Janeiro.
Exactamente. And Sao Paulo or Brasilia, right? No one really thinks about Salvador. So most of the tourism investment has been in Rio de Janeiro. So Salvador, like I mentioned, during the Carnival gets 3 million people traveling to Salvador for like within a 2-week period. They lack the infrastructure for hotels for these 3 million people. So most people that come to Salvador actually rent apartments with their friends. They don't stay in hotels because it lacks that infrastructure. So that is a huge opportunity as well that is unique to Salvador, is that now the world, especially the global Black community, is waking up to Salvador, that there's room for that as well. And within the Brazilian context, rich Brazilians travel to Bahia during the Christmas holiday. So from December to January, like the first 2 weeks of January, they actually travel to Bahia and to the islands where I work. So Ilha de Chinaré, you have Trancoso, you have where Anderson Cooper and Beyonce has visited. Anderson Cooper owns property on these islands. So this is where very, very affluent people, the owner of like the equivalent of Best Buy in Brazil, owns property right in Garapua, where I lived for 8 months. So there is also, and you can own property in a place like Garapua for $20,000. You can have land on beachfront property for like $20,000. So there's an opportunity for short-term rentals as well in that essence. People often overlook Bahia, so no one is really paying attention. So this is the cusp of that revolution that people are going to start visiting Bahia. So that's where that can come in. As well as not just in real estate, you're talking about a place that's known for being African. That's known for having this African essence, right? Sure. So think of Afrocentric products that you can use to penetrate the system. African clothing, shea butter, hair, braiding hair, wigs, weaves, those types of things that are more focused for African people. That is a very key opportunity for market penetration. Get here. You should.
It's from my side, actually.
Is it?
Yeah. It's from my side.
Get here. You should. Oh. Actually, is it? Yeah. It's from the side. Oh, yes. Get here. You should. Hi,
We can't hear you. You're muted. Oh, goodness.
You know what? I had my mic on mute, so that's my fault.
Okay,
just
so
unmuted
sorry.
myself. Yeah, that's my fault. I had my mic on mute. So let me go back. So after you finished answering the question, I had noted that Honorine said, a cousin of mine visited Bahia, Salvador last year relating to work, and he loved it. He said he felt really at home. Then we had somebody who said, let the visitors come to Sao Paulo too. Then we have someone saying, Real says next year's dates. So I know that there's some people who've asked about next year. We have Bahia is a nice place to visit. And then this one was already answered. What about language barriers? I know Portuguese is spoken in South America. So we've had that one already answered by you with respect to having translators on the tour. And Baby T says, very interesting in regards to opportunities in Salvador. I'm a real estate investor. You have mentioned a few of the real estate opportunities. How easy is it for somebody to be coming and jump into the real estate space there? Is it something that they're going to require any certification, or is it easy to just jump in once they get there?
So it's a mix of both. There is not necessarily certifications, but if you are looking to come in and as an investor and purchase property and use it, it's a very simple process. It's not something whereby you have to be licensed. No.
And that is why we are facilitating this process as well. To get it done as makes it very easy.
Will also receive their CPF, which is the Brazilian taxpayer identification number. So that is the first step to anything you want to do in the country: renting an apartment, buying property, setting up a business,
opening an account,
opening up a bank account. So we've also facilitated that, so that once you're finished with this trip, you've got the first thing done that you need to do to be able to start your process.
So to be clear, this trip also allows people the opportunity to learn how they can do investments in Brazil. Just so people have an understanding, when they join this trip with you, it's not only a vacation, but it's also an opportunity to learn about doing business there and living there.
I mean, we have the seminars to go through all of that. For our real estate seminar, we're going to discuss how to do business legally, effectively, efficiently in Salvador. I mean, in Bahia.
Yeah.
So we're going to educate people on the ways to go about it.
Perfect. So we have somebody who joined late. Roxanne O says, I joined late. What's this year's date? And do I get my own visa, or the tour guide can help me with a visa from Ghana?
Yes, absolutely. So you do get your own visa. However, we have the guideline of what the Brazilian embassy is looking for in terms of the visa. And we can also, if you are a registered participant in our program, we can also extend an invitation letter to you to help strengthen your visa application. So the cost of the trip is exclusive of your visa application and your flight. But as soon as you get to Brazil, we're taking care of everything else.
Okay, great. So for those who've joined late, I'm just going to quickly remind you that this is a live stream here today where we are having conversations about going to Brazil, going with Beyond the Waves, which is a new initiative by these two amazing women, Rashida and Emma, who are the co-founders. of Beyond the Waves. And their whole goal is connecting the diaspora, connecting people to Brazil to see the opportunities in Brazil. They both have lived in Brazil. They're both Ghanaian, and they understand the lay of the land over there. Rashida having lived there for about 3 years, and Emma lived in Brazil for about 20 years. And so they both have a complete understanding of what is needed to live there, as well as to business there, to work there, and to become a resident, and even to become a citizen. If you're looking to become a citizen, what the avenues are to becoming a citizen in Brazil. And when we were having our conversation, something that came up was the fact that a lot of Ghanaians in particular, and a lot of Africans in general, are always aspiring to go to the US. They want to go to Canada. They want to go to the UK. They want to go to, maybe they want to go to, one of the countries in Europe. You hear stories about people getting on ships and stressing to go to some of these places desperately. But people don't think about Brazil as an option, but it's definitely a viable option. And so this conversation is also to open people's minds for the possibility of choosing Brazil as a potential place to go, because the Brazilian passport, the two of you had mentioned to me the strength of the Brazilian passport, or having Brazilian residency. Can you share a little bit of that for people to know?
Yes. There is a global ranking of passports. That's what I'm sure we're all aware, right? That details the mobility score of that passport holder, meaning how many countries can that person travel to visa-free or visa on arrival. So Ghana, their passport ranking is 75. So the lower the number, the worse off the passport is, as that means Ghana has more flexibility between around 70, 75 countries. The United States is ranked at 172. Okay. Now, I know a lot of people have their own preconceptions about Brazil, but I'll give people a moment to enter in the chat. So if Ghana is 75 and a US passport holder is 172, where would you place Brazil? So I guess we'll
put in the comments.
Yeah,
where do you think Brazil is? What's the strength of Brazil's passport? What's the strength of Brazil's passport? How many countries do you think you can go to on the Brazil passport? Let us know. What do you think? What do you think? How strong do you think it is? If you know, I think people are probably like, I'm not sure. Let me just let these ladies tell us.
So people start
Real says 100.
100. Okay. Anyone else say something? Any guesses? There's no wrong answers here.
Exactly.
Baby T says 65.
Oh,
okay. Okay.
Hannah Open says 120. Honorine says 105.
Okay. Awesome. Can we tell them now?
Daniel says more than 100.
100. So actually, Brazil's ranking on the global mobility score is 168. So if you have a Brazilian passport, you can travel to 168 countries visa-free, okay? Comparatively to an American passport, which is 172. So
okay, so let's repeat that so people get it. So 168 is where Brazil is.
Yeah, yes. So that's their ranking score on the global mobility score. It's 168. The United States is 172, and Ghana is 75.
So Brazil, you can travel to 168 countries. USA, you can travel to 175, right?
172.
172. And Ghana is
75.
75. So I want to add that to the screen. I just wanted to type it and put it on the screen. So with the global mobility, the strength of your passport, how many countries you can travel to, Brazil is 168 countries you can travel to on the Brazil passport without a visa. USA, 172 countries you can travel to without a visa. Ghana, 75 countries you can travel to without a visa. So you can see that the Brazilian passport is stronger than people even realize. And before I had the conversation with you, I didn't even know that Brazil had such a strong passport. All along, I was thinking that Brazil's passport wasn't that strong. I didn't know that this is how many countries a person with a Brazilian passport can travel on. Now, that being said, it seems like getting residency in Brazil would be much easier than in Ghana. Can you explain the process?
Absolutely. I mean, let's, for instance, think about this. How many how many Ghanaian women travel to other countries to give birth, right? And they do so that their children can become citizens of that country, right? But let's be honest, if you go and give birth in Canada or America, your child will become a citizen of that country, but you as a parent will not. You as a parent will still be with your Ghanaian passport, right? And only when your child becomes 18 can they file to sponsor you, right? So you can't live in America or live in these countries with your child. They have to come and live in Ghana with you. Brazil is not like that. So if I go to Brazil and give birth, that same day, I am officially a permanent resident, myself and the father. Yeah. So the child is a citizen automatically. Myself and the father are permanent residents immediately. 1 year of residency in Brazil, and I know, I'm sorry, it's the most painful part, living in Brazil for a year. But if you stay in Brazil for 1 year, you have now met your naturalization residency requirements. You can apply for naturalization. And that process takes between 6 months to a year. But if that is your path, if you already know in that 1 year residency that you're trying to become naturalized, you can expedite that process by making sure you have all your ducks in order so that it makes the process a lot easier. And again, doing it through Beyond the Waves and doing it with our local partners expedites that process and prepares you 100%. So in less than 2 years, you can go from having a 75 ranked passport to a 168 ranked passport. There is no other country that you can do that.
And the interesting thing is that the 168 countries, most of them are European countries, not even African countries.
Exactly. So imagine you can struggle to get a Schengen visa, but if you have a Brazilian passport,
you can travel to all the European countries visa-free.
Yes.
This is so interesting and something that I never knew until we had our preliminary conversation. I didn't know this. And it's really, really interesting. We have people joining late. Kofi Azuma says, greetings to beautiful Queen Ivy. Thank you. Thank you for joining the live stream. Roxanne O says, what is the tour date and how much? The tour dates, if you can share what the tour dates are.
Yeah. So we have 2 dates this year. We have our March 24th to the 31st. And we also have a date coming up soon in October because we have really listened to people and there's so much interest, but the timing is too tight for a lot of people to be able to attend in March. So we want to accommodate those. So we will be announcing new dates for October very, very soon. And we believe the investment will be the same. So currently for the March trip, it's for a single occupancy, it's 4,500 USD. And for a double occupancy, it's 4,000. We also have just the seminars and tours. So you find your own accommodation and food and all that stuff. You just attend the tour aspect, and that is $2,200.
Okay.
All that
so
information.
I'm trying.
The brochure, page 18 in the brochure, we have all that listed.
And also for the up in October, we've made it in such a way that payments can be done in installments.
Yes.
So that it's not too hefty for people.
Exactly. So with just an investment of 1,500 USD, you can secure your spot into that trip. So 3 payments of $1,500 is a lot more digestible and allows people to spread that out throughout the year.
Okay. So for those who've joined late, we are talking about, we're currently at the point where we're talking about the cost of the trip to Brazil. The dates that are currently set are March 24th to 31st, 2025. It is closed for some people, but for those who can do it, you can certainly sign up with them. But there will be upcoming October dates to be confirmed. The total cost is $4,500 USD for single occupancy. Double occupancy, 2 people, is $4,000 per person. You can make a deposit of $1,500 USD, and then you can make payments to pay it off and then go on the trip. So this does not include the flight. You can join from anywhere in the world. You can be anywhere in the world and decide to join this trip with them. You book your flight from where you are to get there, and then you join on the trip, and you get the opportunities to be connected through the seminars, connected with people doing real estate, connected with people who will show you how you have the opportunity to, invest, do business. You have a real estate tour where you'll get to visit some properties. You'll get to go on a yacht where you tour some of the area and go through and have a good time as well. And overall, it's an experience with culture. You said there's going to be some cultural aspect where you get to learn some drumming and be part of the festival, right? You're going to experience the festival because the festival's happening at that time, correct?
You're happening after.
After, okay, so people can stay longer if they choose to stay longer and participate in the festival. But the dates that you have set,
You have to come earlier. Carnival is that first week of March, last week of February, kind of extends.
Okay. So then they have to come earlier for that. Okay, but this trip, you've got a great itinerary that you've gone through. Some people joined late. If you join late, you can always rewatch the replay to see more of the information. Kofi says, greetings to all my brothers and sisters here on this blessed Sunday. Today is playoff games here in USA. I guess people who are watching sports, they can be watching their sports. New Leaf Last says yes to the October dates. Real says around October, November, right?
Yes. Yeah, it will be more soon October, closer in October, yes.
Kofi Azuma is asking, who are your beautiful guests here speaking today? You joined the live stream late. You can always go watch the replay, but I will quickly say for people who have joined late, I have these two women who are the co-founders of Beyond the Waves, which is an initiative to connect the diaspora, connecting with Brazil and connecting with Bahia, Salvador. So they were inspired by the fact that last year, Ghana became the first African country to be involved with the Salvador Carnival. And that sparked the whole idea of, why don't we do something to connect the diaspora with Brazil? Brazil happens to be the country that did have the most people taken from the African continent during the transatlantic slave trade. So there is a large Afro-Brazilian community in Brazil. And so the two of them have both lived in Brazil. Emma for 20 years, Rashida for 3 years. They both understand the lay of the land, and they're both Ghanaian women. They understand the lay of the land in Brazil. They understand the investment opportunity, the business opportunity, the real estate opportunities, as well as how you can easily become a permanent resident of Brazil as compared to other countries. You always hear about Africans rushing to go to other countries around the world because they want to go make some money, do some business, and then eventually sometimes come back home. But they struggle to get visas to go to some of these places. They struggle to get residency. And Brazil is a country that offers that a little bit easier than some of these other places. So we are doing this live with them. The initiative, as I said, is Beyond the Waves. The website for more information that you can go to is beyondthewaves.co. Let me put that on the screen for those of you who may have missed it. That's the website. You can go and check out for more information and how you can register for this initiative as well. So let me go back to the comments. We have Roxanne O says, so what if I make my payment for March, but my visa is denied? Do I get a refund?
Yes, we would honor a refund.
Definitely,
we understand.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or we can
Simple
hold for you for future trips. If the visa will give you information as to what the reason why you were rejected, and so you can always improve and reapply.
Great.
Yes.
Thank you.
Guideline, you're almost guaranteed a visa if you fit that criteria and you do the right things. You're almost guaranteed.
Okay. This question is a 1-year stay qualified for naturalization? Is someone who have a child with Brazilian citizen or marriage? And 4 years stay without a child or marriage but uninterrupted?
Yes. So if you have a child regardless, so it doesn't matter if you have a child with a Brazilian citizen, a Nigerian,
Exactly.
Ghanaian, Jamaican, it doesn't matter. As long as the child is born in Brazil, regardless of both parents' nationality, the child, you are eligible for that. The other paths, let's say if you're going through marriage is about 2 to 3 years if you're married to a Brazilian. Additionally, if you go through permanent residency, work visa, those are also around 3 to 4 years of uninterrupted residency. Correct.
And I have a question for myself here. Ivy, are you going on the trip to Brazil? I can't do the March one. It's too close for me. I let them know that I would look at the later dates when they announce the later dates. That's more realistic than the March dates for me personally. So thank you for asking that question. Let's see. Kofi says, make sure you're all watching this live stream with this beautiful model, Ivy. I've clicked on the like button and subscribe and donate to this channel. Thank you so much, Kofi. Yes, if you're watching this channel and you're enjoying the content and you want to support this channel, feel free to tap the super thanks on the bottom of the screen or the super chat on the bottom of the screen to support this channel. Thank you so much. You can always go into the description box. Once this video is finished, we finish this live stream, I'll have information on how you can support this channel on the screen as well. So thank you. And Kofi continues to say, I would love to go to Brazil. I would love to too. Like, Brazil is just like, I always hear it's a vibe. I have a friend who's there right now. So yeah, I know it's a vibe. He goes there, a friend of mine, he goes there often. And it just always looks like it's a wonderful cultural experience. So yeah, I'm looking forward to when I finally get to go. Honorine says, amazing young ladies. Thank you so much. Kofi, when you're watching Ivy live streaming, always call your friends and family members to come and watch. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. So so we've been on for about 45 minutes. And this has been a really engaging conversation. I hope that a lot of you have gotten a lot of this, these details about this. Like, I just feel like it's a monumental thing that you're doing, because I haven't heard anyone else do something like this, where it's a trip that it's not just a vacation, but you're being connected to lawyers. You're being connected to people who are in business. You're being connected to people who can talk to you about residency in the country. And also having the translators to help in the seminars. Like, I think what you're doing is it's brilliant. It's brilliant. And I think that I love that it's championed by two Ghanaian women. I just love it. So if you have any questions before we wrap up, we're going to try to wrap up in the next like less than 10 minutes. Drop your comments in your questions in the comment section, because I know sometimes there's a bit of a delay when people put their comments in there. So if you have, say it now, because we're gonna wrap up in the next 10 minutes. I just have enjoyed this conversation and hearing more and more. New Leaf Last says, great content as usual. Ivy, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it. Ivy, check in effect and Ace, these two YouTubers always go to Brazil. That's great. I'll check out their content. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, Brazil. What is it that you love about Brazil that you want to share with us today? What are like 2 or 3 things you love about Brazil you want to share?
Oh,
I'll let you start. Yeah.
Yeah, Brazil is home. You know,
Yeah.
Brazil is home. That is it. So in one word, it's home. It feels comfortable.
Yes.
You feel like you're part of them. It's just amazing. So it's home.
Yeah. And I think for me too, you know, I come from Canada, and also, you know, I think it's like the perfect balance between living in Africa and living in Canada, because the system is a little bit more progressive, as well as things just function a little bit easier than they would in other parts of the world. So it's a very developed country. A lot of my family members were like, Brazil, what are you doing in Brazil? Like, they really rated it low, like that it's just this poor country with no infrastructure. And that is not the case at all. I mean, Brazil, you can go to school for free. You have free education. Even if you want to do a master's, PhD, the only thing is you got to do it in Portuguese. You know, so think about that for your children. Your children can study law, can study medicine for free. Healthcare is free in Brazil. So, I mean, for me, for instance, I got COVID when I was down there, and I was hospitalized for 4 days, and I had my own room. I was treated well. I was fed 3 times a day, 3 or 4 times a day. I was given IV drips, medication, everything. And when I was discharged, I was like, okay, so how much is it going to be? And they're like, it's free. And I was like, well, I'm not a Brazilian, so it doesn't matter. You've come to a public health center, so it's free for you. And they didn't charge me anything. And, I went to a hospital in Ghana and I had to pay quite a bit of money, and I think I was there for 8 hours. So when you think about things like that, I mean, it's true. Ghanaians, Nigerians, when they have serious health issues, where do they go? They don't stay here. They do travel. Let's be honest about that truth. So this is an opportunity as well. If you are experiencing major health situations, I'm not saying go there and just take a bunch of free healthcare, but even private healthcare is incredibly accessible. I mean, in the United States, for instance, if you want to have a cesarean or from a vaginal birth to cesarean, you're looking at $35,000 to $71,000 to give birth at a facility in the United States. But a private clinic in Brazil is only about $1,000, $2,000 max,
and it's top notch.
And it's like top notch. You'll think you're in China or Dubai. You're talking top-notch healthcare, top-notch equipment, top-notch care. I mean, a lot of Brazilian doctors studied in the United States. They just prefer to come home to practice. So those are certain things that make
even in the cosmetics as well.
Oh,
right?
My goodness,
cosmetics as well. The cosmetics.
We're in the era of BBLs, and if you are looking for a place that, I mean, for me, if I ever wanted to do plastic surgery, I'm looking for a person that's worked on people that look like me. I mean, Black women, we need to know that we die the most at the hands of healthcare providers, whether it's through childbirth. I mean, even in childbirth, we die the most. We die the most during cosmetic surgeries. And I do think that there is a level of negligence and ignorance that happens when you're dealing when some doctors have Black patients. That's something that's well known. So when you go into a society where 90% of this person's patients are Black, you feel a little bit of ease. It's like, okay, you know how to deal with our skin. You know how to, make things, especially that still fit me as a Black person, right?
Precisely.
So those are certain things that I look for when I'm looking for a healthcare practitioner. So I know for those of us in the Americas, I grew up in a place where I didn't have a single Black teacher. It wasn't until I was in high school that I went to school with another Black person. In my graduating class of 1,500 students, there's only 2 Black girls. Okay, so you can just, conclude to your own conclusions of some of the level of racism that I had to deal with. And Brazil was such a healing experience for me as a Black person. And I just think when you as a Black person, you're looking for a place that you belong,
Precisely.
but you also don't want to compromise on the level of infrastructure and comfort you have, from living in the Western society. And so I feel like Salvador specifically is that perfect balance of that.
Awesome. I had a question in the comments about the website. We had mentioned the website earlier. It's on the screen. It's beyondthewaves.co. Some people might look at it and think I left the M off. They might think it's supposed to be .com, but no, it's .co. That is the website. I had showed the website a little bit earlier in the live stream, but I'll show it quickly again before we head off. I just wanted to show you the website here, beyondthewaves.co. Oh, I got a pop up to
register.
So you can register here for your Bahia experience. Here's the screen for those of you who want to see the website. Discover Bahia. I'll go full screen here so you can see that's the website, beyondthewaves.co. So you can check it out, get more information, and go from there. So I have the website on the screen. I have one person saying, Brazil is home, the peace. Wonderful, yeah. Wonderful. Thank you so much for that. We had somebody who asked a question here, which was, if you buy property there, can you help manage it? And you said the property can cost $20,000. Is that what it says? Is it a studio or 1 bedroom? So these are pretty detailed questions.
Yes. Okay, so I'll start. If you buy the property, can you manage it? So we have a property management company in Brazil that we will enlist to support you in those endeavors. We are simply the connector to the right people who are already functioning in the space, to facilitate that for you. And when I mentioned $20,000, I mentioned that in the context of there was land. You could purchase land on the island of Garapua for $20,000. 50,000 USD is the minimum amount needed to acquire a investor visa to Brazil. So even if you bought that land for $20,000, you still would not be eligible for an investor visa to Brazil. You need to meet that $50,000 threshold. So the property that we will be visiting in that threshold, I can't tell you exactly yet, as that will be closer to the dates, and that's the real estate company that will show us based on their portfolio. But it should be a 1-bedroom, maybe 2-bedroom, depending on the area. A little bit more. Obviously, $50,000 is not going to be like grand, but it will be enough, especially when you're thinking of short-term let. People need 1 to 2 bedrooms, a living room, something of that nature.
Okay, thank you so much for answering that question. We have a comment here. We have to start bringing more brothers and sisters from Brazil to Ghana and Africa. Yes, I think the exchange on both sides, coming here as well as going there, I think that that's very important. So thank you for that comment. And then he went on to say, we need more marriages between Africans on the continent and Africans from all over the diaspora, point blank.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you for the information, Ivy. The co-living life says, sorry, I'm late. What's the visa process for US citizens if it wasn't answered?
So Brazil is awesome. Everything is online. You can register online. So if you register interest on our website, Beyond the Waves, we'll be sending all that information through communication channels, through an email newsletter. So, but you can also just Google Brazilian US or visa application for US citizen to Brazil, and you'll get the direct link to the website to do that directly.
Great, thank you. Nana says, thank you, ladies. Best wishes and success for March. Blessings from New Zealand. She was watching from New Zealand. Thank you. And she says she's off to work now. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you. And then another comment here from Daniel says, especially Bahia is 100% like home, and it is fully of Black. I have no regrets going to study there. Food, dress, culture, etc. Salvador Bahia is best than other states and cities in Brazil. Thank you for sharing that.
That's what we've been trying to tell you guys.
Thank you for sharing that. And we have a comment here that's totally off of the Brazil topic, asking if visa on arrival is on Ghana right now. No, the visa on arrival that was offered during the holiday season ended January 15th. Thank you for your question. The co-living life says, thank you, Ivy and ladies. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. So we're going to have the two of you give us your last call to action before we close out in the next couple of minutes. Please do share, final thoughts that you want to share with everybody who's joined today.
Yes, so visit our website, which is www.beyondthewaves.co, and register, okay? Register to secure your slots now. Don't hesitate at all. Register, make your payments, and then you're good to go.
Absolutely. You'll be included in our communication channels, and you'll be the first to know of our October dates. When we released these March dates, we sold out 50%, almost in 48 hours. So that just goes to show that the level of interest is very, very steep. And because of the nature of these seminars, we want to keep it very intimate. So we can only allow a certain number of people. So once you register on the website, you'll be involved in our communication channels. You can also follow us on LinkedIn, company Beyond the Waves, and Instagram, which is Go Beyond the Waves. And we'll be sharing so much more content on that regard.
Awesome. Let me share if you're on LinkedIn, as she mentioned, you can follow their LinkedIn page where they'll be sharing information. This is their LinkedIn page for them sharing information from there. And if you want to follow them on social media, they've just started their Instagram page. So their page is not yet too active yet, but they do have an Instagram page, which is Go Beyond the Waves. Let me share that page right now so you can see their Instagram page if you want to start following them. This is a new initiative, so they've not done a lot of posting yet on Instagram. Oh, I shared the wrong page. This is their website. Let me go back to the web. Let me go back and show you their Instagram page, because sometimes people might go and they might go to the wrong page. But here is the Instagram page for you to see. They've not made any posts yet, but you can start following them and and get more information on what it is that they're doing. They also have a page on X, formerly known as Twitter. And so that you can also check them out and follow them on that page as well. When they start sharing content, you can follow there. But right now, since they haven't been extremely active on social media, the best place to find them is on their website, which is on the screen, www.beyondthewaves.co. You can register, then you'll be on their email list and get more information there. We have a question here that I think is important to address. The person asked, is the crime rate higher there?
Higher than where?
Good point. Higher than where is a good question. Higher than where? Where are you coming from, Roxanne? Oh, we don't know where in the world you are, to let us know what is the comparison that you're making with respect to a crime rate in Bahia, in Salvador.
People have to understand.
He's in Ghana. He's saying then GH.
Ghana is a relatively peaceful country, and so it's very it's hard to really compare the two countries. Brazil definitely does have crime. It's a high level of crime, but it is, there's a saying in Portuguese that's "Você não mexe, ninguém vai mexe," which means if you don't mess, no one's gonna mess with you. A lot of the crime is with people within, drug and criminal organizations. It's a lot of back and forth between the two entities. Innocent bystander crime is very small. Theft as well. It's about, having your wits of you. Even here in Ghana, I'm not going to just walk around with my Rolex watch and my Rolex watch and put myself as a target. We have to be wise about that as ourselves. I'm not going to go out, in Ghana, you can wear a little bit more flashy. But if I'm walking on the streets in Brazil, I'm sorry, I'm not going to wear Louis Vuitton and Gucci and be dripped down. I'm going to stand out. So those are some things that you have to have your wits about them. With our tour, we do have security with our tour. So we've already addressed that issue, and we've stayed in a very secure 4-star accommodation. But for yourself, as a Black person, you are really going to blend into the society and do yourself a favor and stay away from criminal activity in Brazil. And I do believe you're going to be fine. I went to Brazil by myself as a single woman, and ninguém mexe. No,
exactly.
I didn't have any problem. I was never robbed. And when I lived on the island, it was so safe that sometimes I even forgot to lock my door. And I would wake up with my front door open and the little kids in the neighborhood were playing with my cats. So that just goes to show just how different parts of Brazil, function. Yeah.
Just like anywhere else.
Okay. Mazen Hassan.
Just like anywhere else in the world, actually.
Yeah. Mazen Hassan said, seeing how comfortable the two beautiful ladies are speaking, it's so promising. Thank you so much for that comment. We have somebody who's watching in Tema, watching from Ghana, Tema, and proud of you, Auntie Emma. I'm wondering if you know this man, Daniel Heniba Tabiba. Kwame Olutunji says, hi, Ivy and guests and everyone. Hope you're well. I was in class, so I missed the start of the stream. About to go into another class. We'll have to watch the stream later. No worries at all. Thank you, Kwame, for always joining. So those of you who've been here with us, it's been wonderful. Roxanne O says, sorry, did you say the 4,000 includes flight and lodging for the March tour?
It doesn't include flight, but it includes accommodation. Yes, so lodging is inclusive, but not flight.
Okay, so The flight is not included. That is accommodations and the whole tour curated, the seminars, getting connected with the lawyer, getting connected with people in real estate, doing the real estate tours. So all that is included, but the flight is not included, which with flight not being included, it means anybody from around the world can book your ticket and come for that date and join on the tour. So that's the positive side of that, is being able to be flexible from anywhere in the world to come and join the tour. Thank you, ladies, so much today for this engaging conversation, learning all about the Beyond the Waves initiative, where you are promoting Brazil and promoting it for people to come from around the world and look at the opportunities, not only to experience the culture and experience the tourism, and also, but to also experience the opportunity to do business, to network, to go to seminars and learn about what it means to have a life or build a life in Brazil, about residency, about potential citizenship, about the growth potential that Brazil has, and the potential to have a passport from Brazil, that it strengthens your ability to travel and be flexible around the world. One of the things that people need to know that is it's great having more than one passport. It gives you flexibility. It doesn't mean that you believe one country is necessarily better than another, but it gives you flexibility and an opportunity to do more things, use the passport necessary based on where you are and where you're going and what business that you are doing. I appreciate you ladies for taking the time out today to come and talk about Beyond the Waves. Anybody who's interested in this trip, there is the March trip, which is coming up, and that one is coming close. So if you're not able to join, they did say that they will be announcing October dates soon. It is 4,500 single occupancy, 4,000 double occupancy. You can make a deposit of $1,500 and then make your payments towards the tour. So again, visit the website so you can get more information on how you can register. Just a quick note here from Daniel said he also did not experience any robbery issues in Bahia, but heard to hide his phone anytime he steps out. Aside that, Brazil is a cool place. People steal phones in Ghana too. I've had my phone stolen 3 times. So yeah, but anyway. So thank you everybody for joining. You can put more questions in the comments even after the live stream is done. I can make sure that the ladies are able to answer the questions for you. Or to make it easier, just go to their website and register there, and you'll get a lot of information from them directly about this trip and about subsequent trips. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. Really appreciate you. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe, like the video, and share the video with anybody who you think may be interested in this trip to Brazil. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.